Hello. So this is Martha again with Living the One Light. And this video today, I am going to be focusing on the energies that I'm seeing in the upcoming new moon in Virgo, which is happening next Monday, September 6th. And I'm in Pacific time in California. And so here in Pacific time, it's going to be happening at 5:51 p.m. on September 6th, which means that in many parts of the world, it'll be happening actually on Tuesday, September 7th. And yeah, I want to, before I talk about this new moon, I want to back up and talk about the energies that have just been happening, just been going on, which have been pretty incredibly powerful. I have experienced them full force in my own life, and I've been hearing a lot of other stories. So I want to back up because I feel like this new moon is bringing in some really beautiful, interesting energies that connect to the energies that have just been happening. And this new moon, the energies of the new moon feel like, maybe it's my wishful thinking, but they feel like a real healing balm for working with the intentions of the energies that have just passed over the last month, well, really since the first of the two Aquarian full moons that we just had. So before I get started with that, I'll just say I would love for you to subscribe to this YouTube channel if these messages speak to you. I would love for you to also join my email list if that calls to you. It's free. And then you can join that at livingtheonelight.com, which is my website where you can find everything else that I'm doing. And you can connect with me directly at livingtheonelight@gmail.com also. So what I am feeling called to talk about is, so we just had these, over the summer, we had two full moons in Aquarius in a row. And, usually a new moon or a full moon, they come in like a sequence of, they'll go through the zodiac essentially, typically, right? So it's like normally you'll have an Aquarian full moon and then you would have a Pisces full moon, but sometimes they will double up because there's actually 13 moon cycles in a year and there's 12 zodiac signs. Anyway, so this summer we had a full moon in Aquarius at the first degree of Aquarius, and then immediately 44 weeks later we had another full moon in Aquarius at 29 degrees, the very last degree of Aquarius. So I was talking today with my friend Michelle Dench, who's an astrologer who I've done some videos with, and we'll be doing more together. I'm pretty darn sure. But anyway, we're just having a friendly talk, and we were talking about this set of two full moons in Aquarius together, and what we both noted, having just lived through it, as all of us have, is it feels almost like a bubble, like it was this Aquarian little bubble where we both had these little visions of, certain things of what life could be, or like what a future could look like, or what a vision of the divine could be. And Aquarius has to do with, in the way that I interpret it, has to do with the vision of the divine. So that's a really fascinating way to look back on this little time period and see it as this, like a moment of a window into that vision of the divine that maybe was an energetic template for something or not. And, you know, that may have come and gone really quickly in your life, or maybe came really quickly and then stuck around, or maybe your life upended, or maybe you moved, or maybe a job changed, or maybe a relationship changed, or any number of things. Because not only were these full moons in Aquarius, but then also a week and a half ago, which would be on Thursday. Let's see, I'm making this video on August 31st. And yeah, on August 19th, Thursday, August 19th, at 7 p.m. Pacific, Uranus went retrograde. And Uranus rules Aquarius in modern astrology, the version of astrology that I am most familiar with. So the planet that rules these two full moons went retrograde in the middle of these two full moon period. So it was like this, you know, mega dose of Aquarian, Uranian energies over the last month, 4 weeks. And I'm trying to figure out how you can see me past all this light. There's so much light. Okay, here we go. And yeah, and so as I spoke about in the last couple of videos that I made, the Aquarian and Uranian energy can, you know, Uranus has to literally with like lightning bolts or changes that come and that feel like lightning, fast, lightning, quick changes. Here one day and gone the next, or like you thought something was really solid in your life, it's been going along, you know, maybe for years, and suddenly, boom, it just, something changes really quickly. And actually on the day of Uranus going retrograde, a really close friend of mine had her car struck by lightning, actually, like literally. She's okay, she's fine. But what in the world? Yeah. So anyway, but as I talked about in my last video about the full moon in Aquarius, something that can come along also with these quick changes and with Uranian and Aquarian energies in general is also a sense of trauma. So it wouldn't surprise me if many of us have had some kind of experience that felt jarring, traumatic, shocking, as we've been struck by lightning. I mean, hopefully not literally, you know, something, you know, just yanked us, or like got yanked to us or from us or both or whatever it is. And that can come with a sense of trauma and even dissociation or like many things along those lines. So that's sort of the backstory to where we are now and where we're moving into, how we're, you know, the way we're moving into this new moon in Virgo. And Virgo is a very, very different energy from Aquarius and Uranus. But what's really one of the many things, there's two big things as I drop into this new moon that really jump out at me and that feel particularly important to talk about. Number one is the new moon itself is going to be at 14 degrees, I think 37 minutes of Virgo. Let me take a look at the exact minutes. So yeah, 14 degrees. 14 degrees, 37 minutes. Or 38 minutes. Yeah. 14 degrees, 37, 38 minutes. And that's going to be trining on that new moon. The new moon itself will be trining Uranus, which just went direct. Just went retrograde, like I was saying, on August 19th. Almost precisely to the minute. So Uranus at the new moon will be at 14 degrees 39 minutes. And the new moon is going to be at 14 degrees 38 minutes or 37 minutes. So Uranus is in Taurus, an earth sign, trining the new moon in Virgo, like super precisely. Also, they're both in earth signs, and so, signs of the same element trine each other typically. So this trining of the new moon with Uranus that went retrograde, that like perhaps for many of us was a feeling of like some kind of lightning bolt or sudden change or even traumatic change. The new moon is going to be in this harmonious aspect to this retrograding Uranus. And Uranus going retrograde in general, it can be so super traumatic, but it's like, planets as they're going retrograde are pulling us, the way I feel them, at least, they're pulling us in and pulling us back. And like, it's like, like you're at an ocean and the wave is coming in, the tide is still pulling in. And so the retrograde motion is giving us a chance to come back and reconfigure and, like come back over ground that we have gone forward into, but we need to pull back for some, whatever divinely known reason, pull back into ourselves, into the past in a sense, and to realign. So there's a purpose. There's a purpose behind maybe the traumatic feeling change, that's dicey to say that sometimes because some things are just truly traumatic, and I'm not making light of that at all. But on a certain level, that's, the thinking behind, that's the theory. That's the way I feel these retrogrades, is that they're pulling us back into an opportunity to realign. And so when this new moon is now going to be trining that retrograding Uranus, it's another very harmonious, like, it's a very beautiful aspect to that retrograding Uranus. And on that full moon, on the new moon itself will be conjunct Hygeia, which is goddess of healing and health and hygiene. But I associate her also with bringing like a very healing intention, and she's in Virgo, which is a very healing sign. So it's a grounding, healing, discerning sign. And I just also made a video on Virgo itself and on the opportunities, the gifts of the archetype and the energetics of Virgo, which you can, it'll be the video probably right before this one on this YouTube channel. But I'll be making a series every month of my sense of the energetics of each of the astrological signs. And if you're interested in getting each of those for free, certainly sign up for my email list, again, at livingtheonelight.com. But anyway, yeah, so listen to that video if you want a little more of my thoughts on the energetics of this full Virgo entity archetype energy. But the new moon in Virgo conjunct Hygeia is just such a beautiful, healing, like opportunity moment of when I see it trining that Uranus that's going retrograde, that maybe brought this sense of trauma to our lives or uprooting or whatever it is. It's like the healing balm you know, it's like a salve, like Virgo conjunct, a new moon in Virgo conjunct Hygeia to me is just literally like comfrey, calendula, plantain, rose petal, uh, you know, steeped in olive oil and and then made into a salve. Like that's the association I have with that, but on a soul level, like on every level. And yeah, we're probably, a lot of us are probably needing that. And so also what I feel in that is this reminder, this feeling that we're being called to be discerning, to like, to be very clear and very clean with you know, the temple that is us. So new moon in Virgo, or Virgo in general, to me speaks of the temple that is us, and the idea that we are each literally a sacred temple of the divine. We are, our bodies, our spirits, our souls are temples. We are living temples, and every living thing is. We're creations of the divine. That's, I mean, that's, if you believe in the divine, then that's indisputable. If you don't believe in the divine, then it can be disputed. But I'm assuming if you're listening to this video, you probably believe in the divine. So so yeah, so this new moon in Virgos, you know, to me feeling like trining that Uranus is like, okay, maybe we went through something shocking, new, whatever it is, but then there's this healing balm coming in and saying, okay, so glean what, you know, what it was that you were meant to take from that experience, and glean the what it is you're ready to digest from it, because Virgo also has to do with digestion and the intestines, and so and just the body in general, and you know, bring this into a digestible form, that your integrated system, which includes your physical body and your everything, your energetic field, everything can truly, you know, allow that to move through you in a way that's helpful and healing for you. So that's part one that feels really important about this new moon, and so beautiful, such a gift potentially. So then the other part, fascinating to me, is, so the new moon is going to be at 14 degrees Virgo. Hygeia will be, I think it's 17 or 18 degrees Virgo, also, you know, basically conjunct the new moon. And then Mars will also be in Virgo, but at 24 degrees Virgo. And so loosely-ish conjunct the new moon. Close, but not super close. Okay, but what's fascinating to me is this 24 degree mark is huge right now in the sky, not only in this full moon, just in general right now. So I wanted to speak to that because I feel this new moon, the moment of this new moon, is definitely tying into the greater collective energetics that are going on, that are very powerful, and I think are part of the story of this, you know, purpose of this Uranus going retrograde, and the shocks and the changes and all that. Okay, and it's actually very exciting to me. I mean, it's intense. These energies are very, very, very intense, but in the big picture, it's super exciting to me. So what that is as maybe a lot of you know, Eris, the goddess of discord, has been having squares to Pluto over the past year and a half-ish. Anyway, there's going to be a total of 5 of them. And the 5th one, the last one, will be this October 2021. But the 4th one just happened like last week. And Eris is a dwarf planet that is beyond the orbit of Pluto. So it's outside the orbit of Pluto, which means that it moves very, very slowly around the sun and around us and through the zodiac. So it's been in Aries our whole lives, all of our lives. Anyone who's alive, it's been in Aries our whole lives. But and then Pluto is the most outer planet. So both of these bodies move very, very slowly, and they're very deep and very powerful. And they are coming into the square 5 times. So I've spoken about this square before, I think, but to me, it is so powerful, so exciting, and is really, in my interpretation, my sense of it, about breaking down the patriarchy or whatever, the structures of our society that are not working. Eris is, in the mythology, she threw the golden apple into the party of the gods and goddesses, and the apple said to the fairest. And so then supposedly the goddesses fought over who the fairest was, and it led to the Trojan War. Okay, so the gist of her energetic, in the way that a lot of people conceive of her, is Eris is what shakes things up, but not for the sake of just being mean or vindictive or anything. It's a sense of something's not right. This can't stay this way. She's very much about justice, and that's how I feel her very strongly. Is that she's one of the dark goddesses, quote unquote. And these dark goddesses, this energy that is us, that is life, is very much in reemergence and very much coming back into the surface of who we are, and coming back very much into our awareness. And I have so much more I'm going to say about that other times. And I'm in my Goddesses Speak books, which will be coming out over the next few months. There's a whole section on the dark goddesses, and I love them. They have so much in each of us. I feel like needing to come through and speak and get a reclaiming of what that actually means and what that energetic actually is. So, but the energy of the dark goddess is not destruction in and of itself. It's destruction in the service of life. So it's like when you think of a plant dying, a plant goes into full bloom and then dies and then becomes compost, right? So the dark goddess is kind of the energy of the death of the plant, but that gives birth to the new seed, because the death of the plant turns into the compost that then feeds and nurtures that new seed. So it's all about the cycle of life, the continuation from death to birth, as opposed to just like death that ends and is dead. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, but it's a really it's such a refined definition, of like what that means. And I feel like there's so much energy in us that a lot of us are ready to hone and really get clear, what is that dark feminine energy in each of us that doesn't just destroy for the sake of destroying. Again, is very discerning and clear in the purpose of these life processes. So it's Eris squaring Pluto in the past week, and then they're both going retrograde, and then Pluto will be going direct, and it'll be the fifth square will be happening in October. So there's this energy basically in general, of this this need to break things up that are not right, that are not working, that are not in the service of the divine, and that need to be shaken up. So Uranus and Saturn have also been squaring each other, and that's to me also a similar thing, you know, that we've got to have a new vision of the world, and then Saturn saying yes, but we also need to make it practical. So it's slightly different energy, but it's all this energy around breaking up what we thought was standard, what we thought was status quo, what we thought was the way that things are done, both on a personal level and then on a collective level. And with Eris in there also, it's like, you know, adding this sense of, and it needs to be in the realm of justice. Like there needs to be an element of, we are doing this for the sake of what is right and good on the highest level. And you know, that's exciting to me. So so on this new moon, to come back to this, the new moon, on the new moon, Eris and Pluto will, you know, still be pretty much in that square, and Venus will be at 25 degrees Libra. So Pluto is at 24 degrees Capricorn going retrograde. Eris is at 24 degrees Aries, and Venus is going to be at 25 degrees Libra. So in a T square. Opposite, so Venus will be opposite Eris and squaring Pluto. That is fascinating to me. And then Venus is sort of counterpart, if you want to call it that. Mars will be at 24 degrees Virgo, you know, nearish the new moon. So what does this mean? I mean, this can mean a lot of things, but, and as I'm dropping into it, you know, Venus adds this element of harmony and beauty and love and grace and a sense of, like, I feel her sort of blessing this this square of the Pluto Eris energy, you know, that's so intense and can feel really harsh and really like difficult and maybe heart-wrenching. And you know, that square is like bringing up all these injustices, you know, like women in Afghanistan, that kind of like intense, this is not okay kind of a thing. And then Venus is coming in and going into a T square with that. That's just like beautiful and fascinating to me. What is it that she's saying? Like, what is it that she's trying to add in as she comes in and she's, you know, sings for us, or add some sense of, you know, the harmony in our values and our self-value, and again, love, like just real pure love. As the new moon is conjunct Hygeia, adding in this element of healing, you know, like that healing balm I was talking about. So yeah, I'm going to be fascinated to see how this new moon plays out for each of us. And these are really, you know, difficult energies that we are moving through and have been moving through for what, the whole last year and a half, 2 years, whatever. But this month was particularly intense. And so yeah, I'm really feeling this new moon as potential for this just beautiful, harmonious, healing salve, you know, like sound bath or something, you know, just we'll see how it plays out. But I'd love to hear, how's your last month been? How does this new moon feel for you? And I'll be doing a separate channeled video just for my Patreon members, $3 a month and up. Every single one of my Patreon members will get the new moon video every month. So if you feel called to drop in for that channeled video that I will be doing for just the Patreon members, please do. You can find that at my website at livingtheonelight.com. And yeah, thank you so much for being here and for listening. And like I said, I would love for you to subscribe to this channel if these messages resonate for you or speak to you. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much.